Hey everybody, it's Boardman21 and today's build is going to be the Poison Avalanche Druid. I've recently been tasked with the mission to do a Plague Bear staff build on every mastery, and we've knocked out every single one except for the 3 Primalist classes. That leaves us with the Druid, the Beastmaster, and the Shaman. Right now this video is going to do the Druid, and then 2 videos later this week or in the next couple of days we'll tap out the Beastmaster and the Shaman with it and show viable builds and show that the Plague Bear staff can be used on every build in the game and still be viable. With that, this build is kind of a kite. You can get in with swipe, but at the higher waves you're basically just running around and letting the avalanche boulders fall and poison your enemies. The poison chance is pretty high on this. You can get it even higher, but we decided to opt out of the solo companion scorpion. So using Eterras Blessing on it, you lose 150% chance to poison, but usually you just want to use Eterras Blessing on yourself. With that, as you can see with the gameplay behind me, we're just going to go ahead and get into the skills. For skills, we're going to be running Eterras Blessing, Swipe, Avalanche, Ice Thorn, and Summon Frenzy Totem. For Eterras Blessing, we're using this to give ourselves a bunch of resistance for some global spell damage, leech, and to heal ourselves both all at once and over time. So we have 5 points in Safeguard for 250 armor and protections, which is increased by all of our percentage armor and protections increase. So this is closer to a 750 increase for us. We have 3 points in Embolden for that spell damage on next cast, which will be Avalanche or Ice Thorns. And we have Spell Health Leech, which both our Ice Thorns and our Avalanche will now leech 4% of the damage that they do. We also have 5 points in Improved Blessing for that maximum heal, 1 point in Purge to cleanse our ailments, 1 point in Tranquil Spirit so that if we're out of mana we can still heal ourselves, 1 point in Effervescence so that it heals over time as well as heals us up front, and 1 point in Regrowth so it heals again at the end. We also had 1 extra point that we threw into Eterras Blessing to cost less mana conservation, which isn't a huge deal. It's not a super expensive skill. At 20, this only takes off about 2 points of mana cost. You can also rearrange your points, and if you run the Scorpion because you want to do a solo companion, every time that you hit your Scorpion with Eterras Blessing, you can have up to 150% chance of poison. So you can set 150% to 1 to 2 more stacks per hit, every boulder that comes down, if you do run it this way. We did have that, but the Scorpion, because we're not spec'd into its tree, just continued to die at the higher waves, and hitting it with Eterras Blessing was a total chore, trying to chase it down and nail it. And on top of that, hitting it with Eterras Blessing, meaning we weren't getting Eterras Blessing, which means we weren't healing ourselves and we weren't getting the armor protections, and it was just a hassle, and I just said, it's not worth the extra damage. Now for Swipe, we're using Swipe for attack speed, also for the global crit, and a little bit of leech. We have 4 points in Battle Howl. This will give us global damage, which will increase Swipe's damage and Avalanche and Ice Thorn's damage. 1 point in Aspect of the Panther, 2 points in Frenzy for as much attack speed as possible, 7 points in Feline Hunter for that global increased crit chance, and 4 points in Apex Predator for the global critical multiplier. Since we are running the Plague Bear staff, we have no increase of either spell or melee based crit damage, which means we need a lot of crit damage increase where we can get it. So we're getting it on the Frenzy Totem, the passive trees, and on Swipe, so that we can still crit often enough to proc the 125% increased armor protections through our passive. And then we have the last 2 points in Way of the Hunt for some leech. For Avalanche, we're just trying to get the boulders to come down as fast as possible. We are not putting into mana efficiency on this because we don't care. We have plenty of mana. And with that, we have 1 point in Mountain Peak, 1 point in Precision, 1 point in Wild Path to make it unchanneled so it's a cast and forget, 4 points in Unyielding Storm to increase that duration to 9.6 seconds so that we will always have boulders coming, 1 point in Hailstorm so that it will follow us, 1 point in Explosive Impact so that they hit a larger area, 4 points in Intensity so their fall speed is faster, 4 points in Stormfront so there's 20% more of them over the time period of 9.6 seconds, and 3 points so that when it does crit we get another one for free. For Ice Thorns, we are using this 1 for us to cast, 2 for it to auto recast, and 3 on hit. We don't care about the shield, we don't care about the armor cold and armor out of it. What we're using this for is we want as many of them going off as possible because each one of them has the same poison chance that we do, which is about about 300%. So every time a thorn hits something, there's 3 stacks of poison on that, on top of swipe hitting it and on top of the boulders hitting it. We're trying to stack as much poison as possible so we can really take out the single targets. With that, we have 1 point in a Nimble Affiliate, 1 point in Thorn Shield, 4 points on Bulb Shield so that we have a 40% chance to recast, 1 point in Second Nature to make it an instacast, and 6 point in Floric Tides to increase that cooldown recovery so that we can put it on auto cast and be casting it every second. We also have 3 points in Dagger Thorns, 2 points in Bramble Armor for that chance to cast when hit, and our last 2 points in Spell Thorns for another additional 10% to cast it when hit. And for Frenzy Totem. Frenzy Totem we're using for poison chance, for damage increase, for crit increase, and for attack speed increase. We have 1 point in health regen granted so that we can unlock the 5 points in Venomous Intent, which gives us a global 50% poison chance, 3 points in Rapidity to increase our frenzied attack speed buff, 4 points in Grounded, just so we could unlock the 1 point in Dig In, so that while we're tethered to a Frenzy Totem, we do a global 125% increased damage. That means Swipe, Avalanche, and the Poison, and the Ice Thorns, all of that is doing global damage, so this will increase it by 125%. And we have 5 points in Dig Deep for that 250% critical strike chance while tethered, which will really get the Avalanche critting quite a bit. We also have the last point in Totemic Reach, just to increase its range so we can get a little bit farther away. We will put Frenzy Totem, Avalanche, and Ice Thorns all on autocast, and they will constantly be going up. The only thing that we're going to be focused on doing is basically healing us whenever we see our life start to drop, and then when we get a chance, we would like once every 4 seconds at least to hit with Swipe. If you can do 3 or 4 hits, that'll give you the full global damage stacks for the maximum amount of damage. But again, you want to just make sure you give yourself that crit, and if it's dangerous times, you want to stay out. Say you got like 3 beetles, don't even worry about it. Just kite them and let Avalanche do its thing. Stay away from them. Don't get in that circle and don't get one shot. For passives, we're running 20 points in the base class. We have 5 points in Natural Attunement, 4 points in Tempest Born, 1 point in Primal Strength, 6 points in Survival of the Pack, and 1 point in Ancient Call. We have 18 points in Beastmaster, 1 point in Savagery, 6 points in Lamprey Teeth, 2 points in Ambush, 1 point in Arbiter's Loyalty, 4 points in Boarhawk. As you can see, we have some of our passives aren't 100% optimized. You don't need the Solo Companion node anymore, as we got rid of it. We were changing things up. There's going to be a few points here and there that you could change and put in better spots. For the Shaman, we have 20 points to unlock Avalanche. We have 8 points in Shamanic Infusion, 4 points in Teutonic Flurry, and 8 points in Silent Protector, so that when you do have that totem, you have 120% increased armor, which boosts our mana regen because we are wearing Util's Pride. And 53 points in Druid. We have 6 points in Blood Claws, 5 points in Barkskin, 5 points in Soul's Attendant, 8 points in Blossoming Vines, 5 points in Strengthened Bond, 7 points in Woodlore for Poison Chance and for Vitality, 5 points in Ferocity, 5 points in Defense of the Heart, and 7 points in Soothing Slaughter for that increased healing effectiveness, critical strike, and for the health gained on crit. Items are not 100% maxed, especially when it comes to idols, but we are running the Plague Bear's Staff for that poison on hit chance, the plague on hit, the plague effect, and the blinding poison chance. We are also running Util's Pride so that we have an increase of mana regen per 100 armor, and this is just to make sure that we can always have everything autocasting and that we have as much mana as possible, so that if we need to, we can just spam the crap out of Eterras Blessing and heal ourselves. And then for all the items, we have T5, Glancing Blow, and then some protections on the belts, boots, gloves, and helm. And then our jewelry set, once again, is going to have Set Elemental and then just a bunch of protections on them. For our idols, we need one idol that will give us a chance to summon a Thorn Totem on hit, which is what our first totem will do. And then the other ones, all you need is Poison on hit. We only have 3 of them, so it only gives us about 20% more poison on hit chance. We have room for 1 more. And then we have some healing effectiveness since we had nothing else to throw in there. With that, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some gameplay.